You're not lazy. Let's just get that out of the way right now. That heavy feeling that anchors you to the couch, the endless scrolling when you know you have a deadline, the guilt that whispers in your ear at the end of the day, it's not a character flaw. You've probably heard the popular idea that you're just mentally exhausted. And for many of us, that's absolutely part of the equation. We live in a world that demands constant energy and attention. But what if that's only chapter 1 of the story? What if your laziness is not a bug in your system, but a feature? What if it's actually a highly intelligent survival signal that your mind and body are sending you? This signal is trying to tell you something incredibly important. The problem is, most of us have been taught to ignore it, or worse, to punish ourselves for it. This leads to a cycle of burnout, guilt, and even more inaction. It feels like being stuck in quicksand, where the more you struggle, the faster you sink. Today, we're not just going to stop struggling. We are going to learn the language of that signal. Welcome to a new way of understanding yourself, one that replaces self-criticism with self-curiosity. As we've established, the idea of mental exhaustion is a good start, but it doesn't explain everything. It doesn't explain why you can have zero energy for a work report, but then spend 4 hours lost in a new hobby. It doesn't explain why some days even choosing a movie to watch feels like an impossible task. In this video, we are going to decode the signals behind your inaction by introducing 3 hidden forces. First, we'll explore what I call protective hibernation, your nervous system's emergency brake. Second, we'll uncover goal signal mismatch, which is when your soul puts up a fight against a life you don't truly want. And third, we'll look at environmental friction, the invisible walls in your world that drain your willpower before you even start. By understanding these 3 forces, you'll gain a new toolkit for navigating your own mind. You will learn to see your lack of motivation not as a personal failure, but as a compass that is trying to guide you back to a more sustainable, authentic, and fulfilling path. This isn't about finding a magic productivity hack. This is about starting a kinder, more intelligent conversation with yourself. You'll leave this video with not just relief, but with a clear understanding of what your body is trying to tell you. So let's begin by exploring that first and most foundational hidden force. The first reason you feel lazy is often the most profound, and it's what we call protective hibernation. Your laziness isn't a character flaw, it's a form of protective hibernation. This is not the same as feeling a bit tired after a long day. This is a deep biological response from your nervous system to chronic stress, pressure, or burnout. Psychologists are beginning to understand this as a vital self-preservation mechanism. Think of it like a computer that has been running too many programs for too long. It starts to overheat, the fan is screaming, and performance slows to a crawl. To prevent permanent hardware damage, the system intentionally throttles its own performance. It forces a slowdown to protect its core components. Your body is doing the exact same thing. When faced with unending demands from work, school, or life, your nervous system can hit a point where it identifies more effort as a threat. Its solution is to pull the plug on your motivation and energy to force recovery. The symptoms of protective hibernation can be confusing because they feel like laziness. You might experience persistent brain fog, where even simple decisions feel overwhelming. There's often a profound lack of desire to do anything at all, a state of deep apathy. Crucially, you might find yourself avoiding tasks that you normally enjoy, like hobbies, exercise, or even socializing with friends. This is a major clue that you're not just being lazy. Laziness would be avoiding the difficult things in favor of the fun things. Protective hibernation is avoiding everything because your system simply has no power left. Imagine a student, let's call her Maya, who has just finished a brutal exam season. She spent weeks fueled by caffeine and adrenaline, staying up all night and pushing her body to its limits. After her last exam, she expects to feel relieved and excited to catch up on her favorite shows. Instead, she feels nothing. She sits on her sofa, remote in hand, but the thought of even choosing a show feels exhausting. She scrolls through her phone mindlessly, feeling guilty and broken. Maya isn't lazy. Her body has entered protective hibernation. It's enforcing a period of deep rest because she wouldn't choose it for herself. Recognizing this is the first step to breaking the cycle of guilt. It allows you to see this state not as a failure, but as a necessary and intelligent recovery phase. You are not shutting down. Your body is wisely powering down to recharge. So that's what happens when your body forces a shutdown. But what if your body feels fine, yet your soul is protesting? This brings us to the second hidden force, goal signal mismatch. This type of laziness is often highly specific. It's the powerful, unshakable urge to avoid one particular task or area of your life while you have plenty of energy for other things. This is your authentic self staging a quiet rebellion. A goal signal mismatch occurs when the goals you are pursuing are not aligned with your true intrinsic values and desires. These are the should goals. The career path your parents wanted for you, the definition of success you absorbed from social media, the life plan you made when you were a different person. Your conscious mind might be trying to push forward with these goals out of duty or fear. But your subconscious, your intuition, knows this path isn't right for you. The laziness you feel is not a lack of discipline. It's a form of protest. Think of it this way. Your laziness is like a check engine light in your car. The light isn't the problem itself. You wouldn't get angry at the light and call it a lazy light. The light is a valuable signal that the path you're on or the way you're driving isn't aligned with the vehicle's core programming. It's telling you that something under the hood needs your attention. In the same way, your resistance to a task is a message that the goal itself might be the problem, not your work ethic. Your motivation isn't broken. It's a compass pointing away from a life that isn't truly yours. Let's consider an example. Someone named Alex. All his life, Alex has been told he'd make a great lawyer. He's in law school, surrounded by books, and he feels profoundly lazy. He procrastinates on his reading, finding it impossible to focus on case studies. He berates himself for his lack of discipline, worrying that he doesn't have what it takes. But at night, a strange thing happens. From midnight until 3 in the morning, Alex is wide awake, filled with energy, teaching himself how to code. He devours programming tutorials with a focus he can never find for his law books. Alex isn't lazy. He is experiencing a classic goal signal mismatch. His laziness is a highly specific signal. It's his inner compass screaming that the path of law is wrong, while simultaneously pointing strongly toward a future in technology. His inaction isn't a problem to be solved, it's a clue to be followed. Listening to this type of laziness can be the bravest thing you ever do. This brings us to a completely different and often overlooked reason for inaction. What if the problem isn't inside you at all? Let's talk about the third hidden force, environmental friction. This concept is revolutionary because it moves the blame away from your character and onto your context. Environmental friction refers to the small, cumulative barriers in your physical and digital surroundings that make desired actions harder and undesired actions easier. Each point of friction is like a tiny speed bump for your motivation. One speed bump is no big deal, but after 10 or 20, your journey comes to a grinding halt. We often think of motivation as a purely internal battle of willpower, but research consistently shows that our environment has a massive impact on our behavior. Trying to start a new habit in a high-friction environment is like trying to run through waist-deep water. You might be an excellent runner, but you won't get very far. It's not that you're a bad runner, it's that the environment is actively working against you with every single step. Let's make this tangible. You want to go to the gym in the morning, but your gym clothes are buried in a messy closet, your water bottle is dirty in the sink, and your keys are missing. Each one of these is a point of friction that drains your limited morning willpower. Or maybe you want to eat healthier, but your kitchen is filled with junk food on the counter, while the healthy vegetables are hidden in a drawer in the fridge. The path of least resistance leads directly to the chips. Your environment has made the lazy choice the easy choice. This applies to our digital lives too. Consider trying to write an important report. In a high-friction scenario, your phone is on the desk, buzzing with notifications, and you have 20 browser tabs open for research. Your attention is constantly being pulled away, creating immense friction against the act of focused writing. Now, imagine a low-friction scenario. You're in a clean room, your phone is in another room on silent, and you only have one document open. The exact same person with the exact same level of internal motivation will be vastly more productive in the second scenario. It has nothing to do with being lazy. It has everything to do with intelligent design. Understanding environmental friction is liberating because it gives you something tangible to control. You can't always control your stress levels or your life goals overnight, but you can absolutely control where you put your phone. Now, before we move on to how we can work with these three forces, there is something very important to address. For some of us, these feelings of inaction and overwhelm are not just a temporary state, they are a constant companion. It's crucial to acknowledge that these experiences can be significantly amplified by conditions like ADHD, depression, anxiety, or chronic fatigue. If you have ADHD, the environmental friction we discussed can feel like a mountain, not a speed bump. If you're living with depression, protective hibernation can become a long and difficult winter. The purpose of this video is to provide a new lens for understanding, not to offer a diagnosis. And if you've been listening and feeling that this describes not just a bad week, but your entire life, that is valuable information. It's a signpost pointing toward the possibility of getting more targeted support. Speaking with a doctor or a mental health professional is not a sign of weakness. It is a courageous and powerful act of self-care and strategic problem-solving. These frameworks can still help you have more compassion for yourself on that journey. Remember, understanding is the first step toward any kind of meaningful change. So, how do we take all of this and turn it into action, or even compassionate inaction? Let's build a practical, failure-proof toolkit based on these three forces. First, if you suspect you're in protective hibernation, your task is not to push harder. Your task is radical rest. Start with a compassion-first audit. Look at your to-do list and ask, what can I cancel? What can I postpone? Where can I do less?
This isn't quitting, it's strategic recharging.
Second, if you're feeling a goal signal mismatch, your job is to become a detective. Start a curiosity journal. For 1 week, whenever you find yourself procrastinating, write down what you do instead. No judgment, just observation. That list of distractions isn't a record of your failures. It's a treasure map pointing to your real interests. Third, to combat environmental friction, we need to stop focusing on willpower. Stop trying to have more willpower. Start creating less environmental friction. One change. This week, make one single change to your environment to make the right thing easier or the wrong thing harder. Lay out your gym clothes before bed. Move the junk food to a high shelf and put a bowl of fruit on the counter. That's it? Just one thing? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Even a small step sounds impossible. This is the most important part. If even a small step feels impossible today, your task is not the step. Your task is self-compassion. Full stop. It means acknowledging you're in deep hibernation and that today the only goal is to be kind to yourself. If these ideas have offered you even a little bit of relief, consider subscribing. We explore the psychology of a kinder, more authentic life here every week. By joining our community, you are taking a step towards continued self-understanding. So let's bring it all together. For years, you may have been at war with your own laziness, seeing it as an enemy to be conquered. You've been told to push through, to have more discipline, to just try harder. I hope today you see the truth. So you see, your inaction isn't a moral failing. It's a signal. It's a signal of a nervous system in protective hibernation, crying out for rest. It's a signal of a goal signal mismatch, your inner compass protesting a path that isn't yours. Or it's a signal of a high-friction world showing you where your environment is working against you. In every case, the message is not you are broken. Something needs your attention. Your only job is to get curious. Don't just listen to your body's need for rest. Investigate its reasons for protesting. That is how you turn this painful feeling into a powerful tool for building a life that truly fits you. Stop trying to fix your laziness. Start getting curious about its message. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. If this video helped, please consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message too. And of course, subscribe for more content that helps you understand yourself better. Be kind to yourself.